Good morning and welcome to Perspectives, this 11th day of January 2021. Perspectives this morning would be looking at Nigeria as a nation, the state of the nation. It's 2021, a new year. We heard the president give us a speech on the 1st of January 2021, one that kind of invoked some kind of hope and, believe in a better Nigeria on that day, especially around insecurity and all. We see a nation today where the economy may not be what we envisaged it to be. Almost every aspect of the economy not doing so well. But with the speech of the president on the 1st of January, there was a bit of hope to Nigerians. Some Nigerians, got a bit of hope that things would get better this year. As it is this morning, we would be looking at, Nigeria in 2021, the hopes and aspirations, where we've been, where we're going to, and in this 2021. And I'm not alone this morning. By the way, my name is Iheanacho Prince, and Jacqueline Adebija is also here.
Good morning, everyone.
All right. To discuss this with us this morning, we have Mr. Matthias Sado. He is the convener, Hope Platform Initiative. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, let's get to it. This is 2021. It's been 6 years now, or it's going to be 6 years now since this administration took over power. What would you say, are the positives that we have experienced as a nation since 2015?
I think you should have asked me what's the negative that because
it's always better to start on the positive.
Unfortunately, I would have loved to start from the positive end, but sadly, based on what the reality on ground, except we want to be politically correct, we probably cannot really lay our hands on any substantial improvements. Rather, what we have experienced from 2015 to this moment where we are now is double recession and then a huge number of insecurity. Yesterday, I was listening to the news and I heard of people complaining about Damaturu to Maiduguri Road being unsafe. People are being picked up every day. This is the report that was that was put out yesterday. It's a daily affair in that place. You can remember what happened or what has been happening along Kaduna Abuja Road, and Ebonyi State, a police station was run down. In Lagos State, all sorts of issues, in fact, as a matter of fact, the only thing trending in Nigeria today and consistently for many months or many years now, it's been the state of insecurity in the country. And so it's difficult for any objective person to be able to lay your hands on something that you can say we've been able to make any progress in terms of governance in Nigeria. Because you see, the sole purpose or the sole reason why government exists is to help the citizens to have an improved life. Where we started in 2015, people were at a particular level, and there would have been parameters to measure how we have been able to improve from 2015 to this moment. Are you going to talk about the rate of unemployment? Are you going to talk about the violence? Are you going to talk about disunity that is happening in the country? Are you going to talk about the lackadaisical attitude of the leadership? Are you going to talk about the waste that you see in government? So really, it's sad, but this is the truth. And we that are given platforms to speak to the people must be honest enough to be able to express ourselves without any fear that the system as it is at the moment has not done anything to benefit the citizens of this country.
Well, if you say this government hasn't done anything, not holding breath for the government, but then we've consistently heard this administration say, well, what they're doing is, reconstruct the nation as it is, paying attention to infrastructure and, trying to better the economy. And these things take time, especially considering, the amount of rot, according to them, that had been there for over 16 years before they took over power. And so it wouldn't just happen overnight. They're paying attention to these things and working on the ground. And particularly the spokesman to the president recently said when the president leaves office in 2023, Nigerians would be grateful because then they would see, they'll probably begin to, enjoy the benefits of this administration.
You see, if Nigerians get to reach 2023, that's the sad reality. If you are able to stay alive to 2023, probably then you can see what is the essence of building infrastructure for dead people. What's the point? If you cannot secure your people, that's the primary responsibility of the government. So if you cannot secure the people, you cannot tell me I'm building a fanciful house for you and then you leave me in the hands of killers to kill me. And so what's the essence of building the house? You're building an infrastructure for citizens of the country that are being killed every day. You're building infrastructure for young people who are run. You see, I receive calls from people who probably look up to us to say, you are our source of hope. And most times when they call, they express that concern. Look, people are leaving the country in droves. And this is, let's be honest with ourselves. So it's not pleasant to come on air to speak about these things the way they are. But this is the truth. So what is the essence of, we have a very insensitive set of people running the government of Nigeria. And that is why...
Mr. Sado, let me jump in here. Who is the government?
The government are
is
the
it not a reflection of the people?
Okay, so this has been a recurring question, and I think it's important for us to define this. There are people who are paid to provide these things for the citizens of the country. This is the government. The government is not, when they say democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now, the government are the people, the people that were elected. I'm not being paid to provide security or provide employment for the citizens of this country. So the person, and that is why the government or the leaders always refer to the government of the president, the government of Mr. President, government of President Buhari, government of PDP, government of this. Government is the people who are there, who are expected to provide this, who have the capacity to use the state resources for the benefit of the people. These people are the ones that are supposed to administer the resources of the state for the benefit of the citizens of the country. So it's not right when we say...
People would tell you, Mr. Sado, that if the people who elected people to go work for them are so unsatisfied as the picture that we have built, we would have seen more of that dissatisfaction, not just in words, but also in action. But let me quickly move away from that, still concentrating though on this matter of insecurity, because you said something, you said without security, we cannot even begin to talk about anything else. Now, this matter of insecurity, there are a lot of people who will tell you that there's more to it than meets the eye. And the part that citizens are playing in all of this is also huge. Now, one, would you agree that we have a situation where this matter of insecurity is one that was inherited by this government? That's one. Would you also agree that apart from the fact that it is an inherited problem, we also have external influences? And thirdly, would you agree that even amongst this issue of insecurity, the fact that we have not had infrastructure and all those other things that you said really don't matter when there is no security, is the very reason why we have citizens actively participating in this state of insecurity?
Okay, so First of all, Nigerians don't care whether you inherited insecurity as a leader of the country. What concerns them is solve the problem. This is why you were elected. This is one of the things that you campaigned on. If there are no problems, nobody would demand for change of government. Mostly, a lot of people come out to say, okay, we need this to change. We need this to change. So when you come and you promise people that you're going to change these things, you are expected to live to your words. So it's unacceptable for any government to use that as an excuse to say, oh well, I inherited this problem. Look, that's not tenable. And about external influence or whatever people call it, I don't buy that. And I'll explain. I'll tell you why. You see, the government, the country is a sovereign state. For any reasonable leader, some of the things that you must know is that you have the responsibility to protect your territory. So when anything is happening within the territory, or you see external incursion into your territory, it is your responsibility. It is not the responsibility of the citizens of this country to go and protect themselves. That is why we don't have weapons. That is why we are not giving guns. So the government owe the people that protection. So when government comes to say, these things are not, it's not something that we didn't create insecurity. Yeah, fine, you didn't create it, but you are being paid to solve the problem. You talk about citizens being tools that are used by to cause insecurity. One of the reasons why I think insecurity is a major problem in the country is the fact that you have millions of young people who are unemployed. You have millions of young people who are tools in the hands of these wicked people. So if government wants to solve the problem, government knows what to do. But the government is not responsible enough to deal with this situation. In this country today, we have about 127,000 or 170 something thousand deficits in terms of teachers. We have 2 point something million people in the deficit in terms of police. We have over 1 point something million in terms of the army. We have young people roaming about the streets of this country. Why are they not being recruited to work in these organizations? Why are they not being recruited to work in these institutions? Why is the government not thinking of how to get these young people off the street rather than wake up every morning and blame them? And then people will say, oh well, it will cost government a lot of money. If government can budget 123 million naira to buy kitchen utensils every year for the office of the president, is that government being fair to the people? If the government can budget 500 million naira for honorarium every year for sitting allowances, is that government being fair to the people? Is a government that this is same people who even the tissue paper that they use in their houses and their offices have been purchased by government resources. So when we are talking about these things, it's not tenable for anybody, any right-thinking person, to sit down and say, well, you the citizens have not done your part. I tell you one thing: the government responsibility is to inspire the people to do the right thing. And for the government to have that authority, to be able to inspire the citizens to do the right thing, the government must be above board.
I'm going to hold you to that. Before we move away from insecurity, the Chief of Air Staff, Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, recently absorbed the precedent of any blames when it comes to the failure that we've experienced in the area of securing Nigerian lives. He says the president has provided everything that they needed to win the war against insurgency, that the president, in terms of manpower and equipment. If that's the case, why do we still blame the president?
If the president has provided all that they need and there is no result, then the president is to be blamed for not making sure that the people who are going to provide or produce the results are put in place. It is not my, see, I don't even want to know anything about government the president has done this and has done that. Look, in a system, if I have a company and I recruited a CEO and I tell you, look, here is my expectations for you for this year. And I have given that CEO all the necessary resources for him to, or him or her, to perform. And at the end of the year, the person does not meet up with my expectations or does not meet up with my set goals. What am I supposed to do? I get rid of you or I warn you. And if I bring another person and the person is not able to deliver, I do the same thing until I'm able to get the person who will deliver. When the way systems run in Nigeria is that nobody is held accountable. When you provide resources for people and you ask them to do something, no one does anything, and excuses are just basically what people provide as solutions or as results, basically. So when the military comes to say, oh, let's exonerate the president because the president has done his own part, I would not understand such kind of statement, because what is my own expectations of the president is to see that the streets of this country are safe. And for us to be able to see that the street of this country is safe, is that the people who are given that task, who are given that responsibility, perform optimally to ensure that it's done. If it is not done, the person that I know to hold responsible for that is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Do you think that the problem that we have is a system of government that we practice? Because people have said over time that, the Nigerian president seems to be the most powerful president in the world. Some other people have said, let's restructure this country. Let's, practice true federalism, where, the other federating units are, given more powers and, decentralize the power. Do you think that's actually the problem?
You see, these are basically academic issues. These are things to be discussed in academic conferences to look for a better system of government. And this is basically what I will say, that the higher call for human beings to continue to look for a better way to do things. But as far as this current system is concerned, even the provisions of this system today are not being fully utilized. And so we cannot blame the system and say it's the system. Because look, systems are made up of human beings. So when you have a system that is not performing optimally, what you blame is the people, not the system. The people who are responsible for the system are the ones. Look, we are here. This show is going on despite the fact that Toyin Alabi is not around. We're on air. We're talking to millions of Nigerians. If there was no plan for this to happen because Toyin is not around, this program will not hold. This is how a system should be. That, look, it is not so much about whether you have you restructure the country or you disintegrate the nation. I have advocated that we should have a local government system that is highly effective. What's wrong with that? Don't we have local governments in Nigeria? that we should have state government that highly effective. We should have federal government that is highly effective. Don't we have these tiers of governments in Nigeria? Shouldn't there be? Is that not what it is? Look, we should be able to get to a point where a local government chairman can tell you, here are my job functions. A local government councillor can tell you, here are my job functions. These are the things, these are my deliverables. These are the expectations of the people for me. And then he tries to live to that level, to meet up with that expectations of the people for himself. I was a banker. There's what we call monthly performance review. Every month, you sit down with the regional manager of the bank to account for the salary you are being paid, that you give you the goals that were set for you, the targets that were set for you, that you meet up with that target. If you do not meet up with that target, you are given a warning or given a query. And if you consistently continue to fail to meet up with that target, one day you wake up and they tell you that your services are no longer required. This is what we have. This is what we should have in the system. I spoke to a couple of young people. We wanted to start on the program in 2019, where the government of Nigeria will be held accountable by ensuring that every ministry is given a target and that we are able to assess their performance every quarter, that we do a review of how much money was given to these people, how much responsibility was given to them, and the expectation of the president, because the president of the country is the one that's supposed to sit down and set these goals, set this target for the citizens, for the ministry, for the government. The governor was supposed to set it for the commissioners and say, here are the things that I expect you to do. So, quarter one, we want to achieve ABC. We want to achieve DC, to, whatever figures you want to put for it. And then, you pass that information across to the citizens of this country. I say, based on our arrangement and our plan for 2021, by the end of the first quarter of 2021, these are the things that we're expecting, these are the things that we expect to have achieved. Right. Then, the citizens can now hold you to that promises. The citizens can now hold you to that expectations. So by time is March, you come together and you give a scorecard of what you have been able to achieve. If you have been able to achieve up to 75%, you get a pass mark. If you have not been able to achieve up to 60%, then you say, look, you need to sit up. It's what they call, in some banks, they call it whether you are making progress, or they will tell you time to step up. If you do not step up, once you get into that time to step up, it means that at any point in time, you can be let go. What's stopping this government from having competent technocrats at this level? When the nation is going down the drain, why stopping the president of this country from running to go and look for help, standing, raising his hand and say, I need help. I have the numbers of the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. I have sent a number of issues, sent number of suggestions on what to do about the economy of this country. Nothing, not even once has the president deemed it fit to say, I am reaching out to you to even come and share your ideas for us to make progress. That tells you that these people do not even want to solve the problems of this country.
The program is Perspectives on Invicta 98.9. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we will be talking more with Matthias Sado. We're looking at the state of the nation, Nigeria, as it is in 2021. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
You're welcome back from that commercial break. Still on the program, Perspectives, this time around with Prince Iheanacho and Jacqueline Adebija hosting. And with us in the studio is Mr. Matthias Sado. He is convener, Hope platform initiative. Before we went on that break, Mr. Sado, there were several things you said, and for me, some of those things built a picture of going back to restructuring. You understand, being able to break governance down so that it becomes something that is piecemeal. Because in a country where our conservative population figures is about 200 million, and we have about 707 government areas, it's a bit of a behemoth, isn't it? Even though some people will tell you that you compare it to a place like the United States, it's still a small thing to grapple with. But when you take a look at the United States too, and you see how they have been able to break it down to bite sizes, governance is, they have trickled it down to such a level.
Mayor level.
Exactly. So I bring you back to the question that Highness had asked earlier, that do you not think that this is going back to the issue of restructuring our system of governance? You said at that time, I remember you answering and saying this isn't, what you feel the conversation should be. But having heard what you said, I'm asking that same question again. Do you not think that it would pay Nigerians to pursue this ideology of restructuring not just the country? I think I would rather say restructuring of our governance system.
Okay, Jackie, you see, what I said is, currently, what you have, there's nothing wrong with it. What you have is that you have people who are ineffective. So, let's say you compare the councillor of a ward to a mayor, and you compare the governor, and then from the mayor to governor to the president. In our own case, we are from the councillor to the local government chairman, from the local government chairman to the governor, and then from the governor to the president. What we need is an effective leadership at all these levels. The structures are already there. How do you make the structure effective is the conversation we should be having. And for us to have that, we need to have individuals who have capacity. Individuals who are truly, genuinely interested in making sure that they deliver on their deliverables. Did the
president not try? Coming back to the role of citizens in a nation, 2015, 2016 cannot really pin down the year now. But I do know that in his first time, the first tenure of this present administration, he did say, strengthen the local government level, the local government structures. I want for them to become autonomous.
Yes.
Which is what our constitution actually says. But the governors of different states at different levels did not see it fit to follow through. What could the president have done at that time?
So that's why the issue of restructuring is not generally blamed at the president's table. Is blamed at the system, at the people who are currently running the system. Now, you have people who, in the National Assembly, could not stand up to defend a cause to say we want to have local government autonomy. And then, in a case where you have individuals who were, what do they call them, local government chairmen, who probably when they were engaged to ask them that, do you want autonomy? And they said, no. The members of House of Assembly of State, you remember that episode where individuals turned down the opportunity to be free from the clause of governors. Why? You see, this is what you get when you have people who do not have capacity. You see, the system, the people in this government currently run for offices, run for positions, basically for their own personal self-preservation. So mostly, it's not about effectiveness. And that's why my conversation will always be about how effective an individual is.
You see, but Mr. Sado, the role of our role as a people, if there's anything that the debacle that has happened in the United States has taught me, it is that every human being, you know, this thing that we bandy about, that the black man is inherently selfish, a pilferer or thief, you know, this is the general misconception or the general concept that people would have us believe. But I think Donald Trump has been able to show several things to the world. One, that there is no government that is an absolute failure or an absolute success. One.
Sure.
Two, that there is no man given power without checks and balances who would not succumb to self-aggrandizement. I think we've been able to establish that with what happened in America. However, the people refused. Say, for instance, when those people stormed the Capitol, if it were in Nigeria, that would have been the end of it, the proceedings of that day. People would have said, we're traumatized, because it was playing into, but these people reconvened and still carried out that
their assignment.
Their assignment. Mike Pence stepped up as VP to do this, but do not think that he did it for me. Looking at it, it wasn't because Mike Pence is altruistic. He cares more about the people than Donald Trump. I think Mike Pence stepped up because Mike Pence also has hope that he will vie for presidency in the coming years. I mean, we're just talking 4 years here. So he knows that the people they keep their memories. And these things will come up to haunt him if he were to run for office again. Bring it back home and ask, would Nigerians still have that memory? Would we have these conversations coming up if somebody who did not do right 4 years ago comes back? Why I'm bringing this analogy is I'm trying to bring you back to the role that we as a people, and that was why I first asked you, I said, what is government if not a reflection of its people? Donald Trump came and a majority of Americans said, look, this man, yes, he might be speaking some sense, but generally, this man isn't speaking for a majority of us, and they flushed him out after 4 years. In Nigeria, what is the role of the people?
Okay, Jacqueline, you see, the issue is in trying to compare America and some other countries to Nigeria, you have to understand one very, very important thing, which is the rate of illiteracy you have in the country. This has been a major tool in the hands of...
But I beg to differ.
Okay.
Mr. Sadi, are you saying that we don't have as many illiterate Americans?
You see, they are quite... This is debatable. But really, that's not going to address what we are trying to... the conversation we are trying to have. A lot of people would think that, okay, the ability for an individual to be able to analyze situations and take informed decision at the end of the day is directly linked to the level of education an individual has been able to acquire. You look at it, the system in the country, we are... One of the things that President Donald Trump used was a platform of religion. And you can see how it was able to hoodwink a lot of Americans. And if you compare that to Nigeria, you can see that even some so-called educated people have not been able to develop their mind to that level where they can see through certain kind of positions of individuals. So, at the end of it, when you look at the the problems that we are faced with as a people, and in trying to address the issues that you have raised, and a lot of people have questions that a lot of people have asked. If the government, if the people that you think have the capacity to be able to change a government anytime they want to, if they have tried to do it one time and it did not work, it dampens their morale. In 2015, when we changed the sitting president to this current government, there was a lot of excitement because people felt anyone who dares the citizens of this country, anyone who does not perform will be shown the way out. Come to 2019, majority of Nigerians believe that the current president was not elected the second time. You don't have the kind of structures you have in America where if the government or the sitting president decide to sponsor an insurrection, that a vice president will stand up and say no to this kind of thing, that the Congress will stand up. Recall that a while ago, the Congress in Nigeria invited the president to come and explain to them what he was doing about the insecurity. When it came, when it became an issue at the front burner, what happened? The president did not show up. The president, Jacqueline, yes. The president did not show up. The Congress could not stand their ground to say, we are holding you as the president of this country, and we as the representatives of the people, we are holding you to come and explain. And if you do not come to give us this explanation, we will impeach you. Look at what is happening in America. Why is it that the Congress could not do that? Because the Congress is in the pocket of the president. This is the truth. This is the people that you have in the Congress. I have written about it, that they do not have balls to stand up to the president of the country. The governors have been able to pocket the State House of Assembly. This is what you have. And when you are looking at your own your own ambition, you want to safeguard your own your pocket, your own interest. It beclouds you to be able to see the bigger picture.
I know we have to hear from those outside, but you see, for me, you just made my point. The Congress called the president. He didn't show up. Neither did the vice show up. Why do you think? You said they are in the pockets of the presidency, but I also think that it's due to the fact that, I know that you are even a part of my problem. If as a president, I know that you're part of my problem. I cut my salary, my vice did. The congressmen in Nigeria did not see it fit to follow through. Instead, we saw the buying of more cars. Why should I answer to you when I know that you're a huge part of the problem? Then on the part of the people, these are the same people that will be electing as governors and back to the Senate or back to the federal, lower house as legislators in the next 4 years. And so, it begs the question: if any senator or any rep understands that my people watch what I do, they know how many bills I've introduced. They know how active I am. Mr. Sado, if reps at any level, either at the higher or lower chamber, or even at the state level, understand that my people are following what I'm doing closely. And this will tell on how my election goes, no matter how much I spend come next election. Do you not think that at least, even if I'm in, say for instance, I'm speaking to myself as a senator, even if I am in the pocket of the president, would I not even make a show of standing for the people?
Okay, Jacqueline, let's
Would I not?
Let's look at this. Okay. So, you see, I ran for president in 2019. Right. Now, you have a system in the country where for you to get a ticket of a political party, you need to do the bidding of certain individuals. I was speaking to Senator Shehu Sani, and I said, there are people we call the board of directors of Nigeria that you need to meet with for you to get anything in the political space in the country. So it is not about you. Well, okay, fine. Jacqueline, you all want to have a better country. You all want to have a Matthias Tado in the National Assembly. You all have to have a Shehu Sani in the Senate and blah, blah, blah. What if these individuals are denied the ticket? What do? So you have a situation where in 2000...
I feel it still comes back to the people.
How do you do
we
it?
Matthias Tado so much, and we say we want him to become our representative at federal level, and it doesn't happen, the people should take to the streets.
Unfortunately, when you talk about the people, the same people that you and I, and that's why I mentioned education to you. You and I have the capacity to sit down and deliberate on what should be, but the powers that be control the system. Once they get to the point where you say, oh, okay, fine, Matthias Tado is our candidate, we put him on ANN, for instance. At the end of the day, they say the only parties that are known is PDP and APC. You are advocating strongly for a Matthias Tado to be the representative or to be the senator. But unfortunately, the number of people that have the capacity to assimilate even what you are saying are not the ones that are... So if we want to talk about this, it will take us a week.
Exactly. Let's we're talking about the people. Let's bring the people into the conversation now. Actually, we would not be talking about the people if we don't talk about the economy. And sure, that's one thing that's biting on the minds of many Nigerians, the recession and all of that. But we'll bring you in now. Let's hear from you. 081 40,000 989. That is 081 40,000 989 and 070 87 800 989 070 87 800 989. You can also send WhatsApp messages to 090 989 00989. That is 090 989 00989.
Yeah,
hello, good morning.
This is Tony on the line.
Good morning.
Yeah, Tony on the line.
Tony, it's good to have you join us. Go ahead.
Yeah. I thank God the way the presenter handled all these things because he's being honest to the call. You say you are fighting insecurity and you are not fighting mass uneducated souls within the north. Mass unemployed youth within the north. Are there no tools in the hands of the wicked people who are using them to celebrate the so-called banditry and all the rest? The Northern leaders should look at their faces and say themselves the obvious truth that they have failed this nation because they have refused to tell themselves the truth. They can't continue having nomadic system and military system and say that we will fight insecurity. It's not going to work. You have to first of all deal with these issues and remove them completely. It's not due. You have to bring out money. Forget about the roads and all the rest. Have a massive agricultural farmland that will take these unemployed, uneducated, uncivilized citizens of this nation to the farms. You give them employment. This is the kind of employment you can give them. Let's form this thing. Activation for them. Then, you will come and make sure that education is on. Look at how they are trying to use coronavirus to stop university education. So that people will not be educated to challenge them. Of course, we know that none of them come to that very seat via ballot box. We know that in Nigeria, it's about arrangement. That's how they come there. That's why they owe no responsibilities for the nation. They do things the way they like. You try to give them positive criticism, they will take you under and detain you. Why the terrorists are being given money, patted on the back for them to go and get more rifles to continue in their nefarious activities. Is this how Nigeria should continue to go? I beg, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony. We're going to take more calls now. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Prince.
Good morning, welcome.
Happy New Year to Ms. Jacqueline.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying to Emmanuel.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you see, your girls have said it. They have said it all. It's rather unfortunate that we are having such a problem like this. Even you inherit it. You know that this problem was on ground, but it was not bad the way it is now. And you say you will be able that they should give you the mantle of leadership that in 3 months this issue will be things of the past. But what I will say today is worse by the day. Worse by the day, Prince. Before this administration came on board, I am a traveler, and I know the time I travel, and I don't think of anything on the way. But today, the reverse is the case. It was not like this then. So why I did think referring to the past administration? Now, if they came on board to change the mantras of things, are we seeing that change that they promised that they want to do? Rather, the things get worse by the day. Now, this service change, when they came on board, there was no doubt about it. They put their input. But now, just like the former governor of Borno said, he says that they have run out of ideas. Let them bring you people. Then Mr. President still is adamant to that call. He says that these people are loyal and he likes them. So, at the detriment of the insecurity, and we are where we are today. No, it can't continue like this, Prince and Ms. Jacqueline and your guest there. Something needs to be done. Now, if just what he says, I said it the other time, Mr. Toyaladi said, why will I say so? It's allegedly. If the House of Assembly, National Assembly, they have not been put in the pocket of this, our leaders, they should have done what led them to know that they are in authority. You know, the Bible says, a man in authority and did not know is like the beast that perishes. You are in the corridor of power. It's also in the corridor of power, and you have the right to invite the person to come and explain to over 200 million Nigeria. And only for us, the Attorney General told us that they don't have the right. For God's sake, how did we get it so bad like this? I will not share whatsoever they need to do to secure lives and property, which is their first responsibility. Let them do that. And any government that is not capable of securing lives and property of the citizens is a failure on the part of that government.
Thank you very much.
Good morning,
Emmanuel. Have a pleasant day. Let's take this one and then have Mr. Sado respond to them. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
This one on the line. I'm calling you from Goma.
Please say your name again.
Usman
And talk to us.
Okay. Calling you from Goma.
Okay.
The issue of, I just joined you late, but the issue of what one of your guests said, that in this country there are people promoting the political system. If you don't belong there, you will not belong there. You understand? Like other people that are fit to be there in the Senate or other sensitive places, you want to be there, but other people will deter them. We stop them not to be there because you don't belong to their circle. So if they happen to be in that circle, yes, they will be or belong to the system. So it's unfortunate. It's a system that is happening in Africa. It's not limited to Nigeria alone. This is just a system that we need to fight. Just like what Jacqueline said, he said they should go down to the street. But if they go down to the street and that short things work, it will not work. Because whenever you go down there, they will tear gas you. And that's the end of it. You see, because you don't have that power again, you don't have that muscle again to push them out. Yet. So there are some things we just have to bear it. When the time comes, I hope it will change. But as far as this insecurity is concerned, to me, things will come to the past. We just have to question. Time will tell. That's just my take. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for talking with us, Usman. Mr. Sado, you heard a callers. How would you respond to that?
Well, it's simple. It's just everyone just re-echoing what we have said, and the fact that our institutions have not been able to defend the rights of citizens, have not been able to defend lives and property, protect lives and property of Nigerian people. This is the primary responsibility of government and government have not been able to do this. We want to talk about the economy, what I call the equality of opportunity that has not been in place in Nigeria. If you don't belong to a particular group of people, you don't stand a chance of getting a job after graduating from school. You go to the streets of the country, you see young people roaming about the streets of the country. They don't have what to do. Nigeria, like I mentioned, Nigeria is a sea of opportunities where if we have a thinking government, if you have a set of people that have the interests of the citizens at heart, they can create a very fantastic economy for everybody. They can create an opportunity. They can create opportunities for people in different sectors. But what you have a set of leaders who maybe, I don't know whether they are incapacitated or they don't care. I can't say which one, but from all indications, from all we have seen, is that if it's the three cardinal campaign point of these governments, which were insecurity, to talk about corruption and the economy, and the three of them. If we are going to rate them as of today, I think the score is for every Nigerian to see that it is far less, is abysmal. And we as people must continue to engage them, must continue to ask them questions, must continue to demand from them. And we try to mention that we, the Nigerian people, the citizens of this country, hold the position of determining who should be their leaders. And when the leaders that they appoint in position fail to meet up with their responsibility or meet up with the expectation of the citizens of this country, the citizens should ask them to step aside. If we are able to educate ourselves to the level where we can engage at that engage to that level, and then it will be good for us. For us, for the citizens of this country, it is your right to be safe. It is your right to be protected. It is not your responsibility to be looking for how to protect yourself from the roads, from hands of bandits, or hands of armed robbers. It is the government's responsibility to provide those protections for you. If the government has failed to do it, it tells you that the government has failed. And what you should do as a citizen of the country is to look for alternatives. Look for Jacqueline to be your president. Look for Prince to be your president. These are people that you can, if you see, one thing that I believe is that the day Nigerians are able to truly believe that they are the ones that elect their leaders, you can be sure that they will hold such individuals responsible. For us to be able to get to do that, we all have to become stakeholders in the production of those who will be our leaders.
Matthias Asado, convener, Whole Platform Initiative, thank you very much for sharing with us this morning.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, the program has been Perspectives on Invicta 98.9. It will come back tomorrow, looking at all the issues in the country. My name is Iheanacho Friends.
And my name is Jacqueline Adibija.
All right, we'll close the program now. Bye for now.